Hey, sports fans, Larry Eater, RunBlogRun. This is Athletics Chat 50, the epilogue, or Larry's monologue, as some people near and dear to me say. Stuart Weir, he's in Oxford, England, the intellectual capital of the world. Larry Eater, that's me. I'm in Medford, Oregon this week, and enjoying the combination of the Midwest and the West Coast in a small town. And we were at Four Daughters, a saloon where you can sit outdoors, and we had these amazing fried mushrooms with German mustard and ranch dressing and a Guinness, and I just wanted to add that in. Anyway, so here's what we talked about this week. First of all, the World Relays, which just happened in Silesia in Poland this last weekend. Fantastic event, always a wonderful event, but some of the big players were missing on the world stage. Team USA didn't even send a team. Great Britain just said 4x4s. And we, Jamaica, I believe, was missing, and so were a few other teams too. So as Stuart said, the big question is, why do they have it? They had it because we need to have sporting events. And it looks like they've done a pretty darn good job. Poland's done several major events during the pandemic. They did the European Indoor in tow room with about 770 athletes from 29 countries, excuse me. And they had about 40 people who got sick on the way home. Sorry, people just like to call out of the blue. How dare them? The World Relays went off very well. There were some great performances. The Italian teams, the Polish teams, and Germany did well in the shuttle relays. And Italy just had a couple stunning performances. So hats off. My feeling about the World Relays, they should be in the Bahamas every 2 years, but they should be at the end of the season after everything, so people relaxed, a lot of money's given away, and people enjoy it. It's very practical to have it as a place for people to qualify, but maybe it's for people to qualify for the next year. Having it so early in the season just busies up our calendar, and that's one of my concerns. I know World Athletics is well-meaning, and I celebrate their creativity, but just consider that in the spirit that it was given. Anniversary games. So the anniversary games is supposed to be in the QE2 Olympic Stadium, one of my favorite places to watch track and field. 2012 and 2017 were tremendous. 81,000 people in the stadium, and it was pretty amazing. But the folks who run the stadium, the Legacy Group, have decided it's going to cost $3.5 million US to fix it up for a month for track and field. And so they've said, hey, British Athletics, here's $1.5 million bucks. Go find another place to do it. So the way it looks right now is that there'll be two meets in Gateshead, the Gateshead Diamond League meeting and the Anniversary Games Diamond League. So it's at least we'll know where we're going to be, and people will be driving up to Northern England to enjoy the meet. 15,000 people in the Gateshead Stadium as opposed to 80,000, or in the pandemic, probably, 40,000? So we'll have to see what's going to happen there. It's just a little strange. The new board member in UKA is a woman named Jennifer Thomas. And she is the only woman of color apparently on the board. And our friend Stuart questions that with the majority of athletes being black on the British team, why there isn't a little more diverse representation. Again, just the thought, not accusations, but it's something to think about. In the U.S., we talked about the plethora of major meetings. Our friend David Monty at Race Results Weekly noted that everywhere he looked last weekend, there was a track meet. A couple sad things. CIF, California, the high school track meet that's been around since the 1930s, I believe, perhaps even the 1920s, is canceled for the second year in a row. I believe there's other ways they could have approached it, but with so many meets being canceled, and I think the liabilities, the state is still very worried about what is happening at the high school level for their 80,000 athletes competing, running, jumping, and throwing the Golden State in California in track and field. Many states across the U.S. did have state meets and had abbreviated seasons. And I think the state of California could have done something similar. Again, not hollering at them, because nothing gets done when we holler. It's time for discussions. It's time to have a real discussion about things and get the people who are involved, from coaches, athletes, fans, media, to try to put something together and come up with a common plan. Right now, I identify 40 bespoke elite track meets in the U.S. over the next several months, and USA Track and Field is sponsoring at least 10 of them. I do not know the level of their involvement in the American Track League Series by Paul Doyle. I do know they're not involved with Jesse Williams' Sound Running Series, and Jesse has been putting on bespoke meets now for about a year and a half, and his meets are I think, one of the real standards. The folks at Miles of Trials have done a lovely job too, with the support media-wise of Chris Chavez, the Sports Illustrated writer and the editor-publisher of Sidious Mag. We had Chris on Socialing the Distance last month, and he shared the challenges of going out and asking people for money. It's a tough deal. You know, that's when I did magazines, and as I do now, I'm asking people every day to support the media that we do, so we can keep independent media out there. So I understand what Chris is going through, and I wish him the best of luck. I think these meets are important, but I also think USA Track and Field, with that $43 million that Nike's giving him, could have sat down and said, "Hey guys, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. This is a good idea, Paul. This is a good idea, Jesse. Let's come up with 25 great meets. Let's figure out how these things work and don't compromise other meets. Let's highlight others. Here's some money. Here's how we can promote them. We can do highlights of certain number of meets and things like that." Streaming video is really, really key. Free streaming video is even more key. It builds the sport. We're not in a process right now that for a lot of the big things, sure, we get people to pay, and I want to see Runner Space and Flow Track around, but because they're doing really important things for the sport. But I also think that there's an audience, a much wider audience that we're not looking at, and we want to give them the opportunity to get involved in the sport. So my last thought for the day is working together. And we'll talk about that more next week in Athletics Chat 51. But this is the epilogue for Athletics Chat 50. Thanks to Mike Deering for managing our programming. Thanks to Stuart Weir from the intellectual capital of the world of Oxford, England, for throwing in his pound sterling or two and very thoughtful comments. And this is Larry Eater in Medford, Oregon, looking for a good glass of Pinot Noir. And I hope you guys are doing well today. Stay safe, get vaccinated, and even when you're vaccinated, just keep your mask in your pocket, because you may need it. We've still got to be careful, okay? Stay safe, my friends, all right? I want to see you all alive at a track meet in Europe, a track meet in the US, or a road race, okay? Take care. If you like RunBlogRun, like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you love us, subscribe on the YouTube. Let's build some numbers. Yes, Mike, I'm ending this now.